that you can ask God about anything? You can ask God for anything? So I know something in you right now is like, no, I can't do that. No, you can ask God for anything. Now, that doesn't guarantee that he will give you everything you think you need, but he will give you everything that you do need. You know, growing up as a teenager, this used to annoy me, but now it's kind of getting older. I appreciate it. I remember being in college, and randomly my dad would just call me. And this has probably happened to a lot of you. My dad loves to talk, so he would, love you, Dad. But he would call me, and you know, I'd pick up the phone and be like, oh, hey, Dad. And, well, you know, what's going on? And he would just say, you know, nothing. I'm like, okay, well, you called me, so. But then he would just start talking, and we would just start talking. And even to this day, like I just realized, and getting older, my dad he just loves to talk to me. He just wants to talk to me. And you know, sometimes we've talked about things that have been really positive, but sometimes it's been a little bit tough. And I've said, man, Dad, I'm feeling disappointed. I'm feeling heartbroken. I'm feeling hurt. But I will tell you this, my dad doesn't just value the good talks we have, he values every talk we have. Do you know that's how your father feels about you? Do you know that's really how God feels about you? Really. I'm not talking about like the good Christian who sits in the front worships. You. He just wants to hear you talk. There's nothing too big or too small to say to God. You can ask him about anything, for anything, because he is Father. He doesn't have to bow to our every command. Instead, he wants to take care of us. And there's sometimes every time he speaks life, there might be sometimes he says something that's a little bit tough, but it's because anything he tears down, he wants to build up healthy. You can trust God this morning. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And here's the promise as the worship team comes up this morning. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. You know what's interesting to me about this passage? This wasn't necessarily the answer that this church was looking for. I mean, I could see them as the letters being written and it's being open to the church, and this is the Apostle Paul. This is the guy who has heaven's answer, and he says, be anxious for nothing but, and they're like, okay, here we go, but God's going to end the persecution next week on a Wednesday at 7 p.m., and then the anxiety is going to end, and I wonder how many of us feel the same way when it comes to the Lord. God, if you would just answer this prayer, if you would just show me, just do this thing, give me this breakthrough. And I want you to hear me this morning. Sometimes God does give you breakthrough in the moment. I've seen God heal people in a moment, set people free in a moment. We believe in a supernatural God who does those things. But what Paul was saying here is the answer you're looking for, that's not the answer. The promise is his presence. The promise isn't so much, hey, he'll meet this need and then the anxiety goes away, because he was dealing with the root issue of anxiety isn't the problem, it's the state of your soul. He was saying the promise is his presence. He said, and if you do this, be anxious for nothing, but in everything, get close to Jesus. By conversation, realizing you need him, be thankful. What is Paul really saying here? This isn't just like a list of do this, and this, and then the peace of God will come to you. He wasn't saying like, fill this out and then it happens. He was basically saying, hey, you're anxious? Run to Jesus. Are you stressed out about the future? Run to Jesus. Are you frustrated with where you're at? Run to Jesus. Are you dealing with a diagnosis that you cannot pass? You can still run to Jesus. He was saying in everything. You know what everything in the Greek means? Everything. everything. That's every relational situation, every frustration in the deepest part of your soul, every embarrassing moment, every addiction. He says, hey, in whatever state you are at, no matter where you are at, you don't have to clean yourself up, then come to God. Just right now, go to Jesus. Right now, just go to Jesus. And the peace of God, which then surpasses all understanding. What does that mean? Because then, when the peace of God comes, your circumstances might not change, but you'll change. The waves might not settle immediately, but all of a sudden, there's a knowing that, hey, if Jesus is in the middle of this, I'm gonna make it.